What is going on? Why do you think that the U.S. is so quick to go help Israel fight against the Palestinians? Why? They know that the Jewish people in Israel are not the original people. Oh, no, no, no. They are definitely not. The original people are black people and people of color. So, why did one lady, Judith Shore, she was Israeli consul, say that the biggest threat in Israel is the younger black community? What? Why do they feel so threatened? Why? Why? Because you know why? They know that the black people were the original chosen ones, the original ones that were there. The people over there now, they took over all that land, just like they're trying to take over all of Palestine. They have taken so much land from Palestine also. But watch what this lady says about the black community being Israel's biggest problem. Like, what? Did you just tell on yourselves that, how y'all took slaves out of there back in the day and brought them, and made them make America and all this because you took them from their original spot. And now they are trying to sit there and continue to take all the little bit of land that Palestine has. The U.S. is evil. The U.S. is evil, not the people in it, because I am from the U.S. But what I'm saying, all this shit is crazy. We have U.S. soldiers over there going to sit there and kill innocent kids, women, children, elderly men, everything in Palestine. But how did black people, all of a sudden, young black people, and the community of black people, all of a sudden become the problem to Israel? Please explain this to me. Is it because your guilt's starting to get to you? But watch this clip.
The problem of Israel is with the young generation of the black community. Black Lives Matter starts there.
Khan, shalom, shalom. What's going on? Try to give it a little time. Wait for brothers and sisters to get in here. Go ahead and get started. All right, first and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, by Hashem, Hamashiach, Yahushai. God, y'all see the lesson, title of the lesson, backwards head effect, right? And what the backwards head effect is when the body is stronger than the head. When the body is stronger than the head. And I'm going to give a few examples. I'm going to show y'all a video, and we're going to go into some history, right? So strap in, buckle up. I don't know how long this is going to be. Let's start off with the book of Genesis chapter 3 and verse 1. Genesis chapter 3 and verse 1.
This is Genesis chapter 3, verse 1. Genesis chapter 3, verse 1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which the Lord God had made. And he said unto the woman, Yea, hath God said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden?
Jump down to verse 6.
This is Genesis chapter 3, verse 6. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and the tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof, and did eat, and gave also under her husband with her, and he did eat.
And she gave it also to her husband. And what did he do? He ate it. The husband ate it too. He was given direct orders not to, but he followed after his woman, right? So this has been happening from the very beginning. We've been getting it wrong for a very, very long time, right? So the backwards head effect is basically just dealing with weak men, right? And this is something that we got to keep going into. We got to keep going over because we got a lot of weak men in our nation. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, what we do, we tend to fall into the same trap over and over again. The Bible says the things that was written aforetime was written for our learning. We're supposed to be reading. We're supposed to be diving into these scriptures, getting the understanding what these scriptures is talking about so we don't fall into the same trap. But we continue to do that, right? We just read where Adam did the same thing that a lot of men do. right? Let me get before you get that, because I'm glad you went there. You want to get that? Let's go ahead and bring it out. Go ahead and bring it out. Okay, go ahead.
Done. Hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men. And weak men create hard times.
So weak men create hard times. I think this quote just became popular a couple of years ago. But weak men create hard times. Another strong reason why we gotta strengthen our men. Right? We got to get the head of the woman's body back on focus, right? Stronger. We got to encourage our men, just like we got to encourage our women, right? Um, I'm looking for that one where it talks about Sirach, where it talks about. Oh man, let's get my. Hold on. No, it's not telling. Give me just a second. Slock you, family. Okay. All right, I'm gonna come back to that because I can't even think of it. Let me get this. Let me get this video so I can reset my thoughts. But check this video out. Actually, I got to share it. So like, yeah. All right, God. Many of you might have seen this video before. Many of you might not have seen it. But this is a good um, example of a weak man.
In sickness.
In sickness.
And in health.
And in health.
To love.
To love.
Cherish.
Cherish.
And to obey.
We didn't talk about that one in counseling.
We did talk about that in counseling. Yes, we did. So you want me to repeat that again? You want to just keep going?
I think we can keep going.
All right. Cherish.
Cherish.
And to obey.
We didn't talk about that one in counseling.
We did talk about that in counseling. Yes, we did. So you want me to repeat?
Now, what he should have done, what the husband should have done, I mean, especially if something they talked about this in council. If this was talked about in council, and we knew that she was having a hard time with this, obeying her husband, like the Bible say, she's not ready for marriage. She needs more time. Why rushing it? Why rush it? Right? You're not ready. You're not ready for a husband. I don't know what she's looking for, right? But he should have saw that she had an issue with submitting to his authority and gracefully bowing out until she's ready, right? But that's something that he should have done as a man. Now we know that all eyes are on her, which it should be, but I mean we gotta look at him too. What is he gonna do? He went on ahead and married her. You know, even though she made him look like that in front of all these people. You know, she's like, I ain't ready for that. We can go on. We can pass that because she's not fixing to obey him, right? So where did this mindset come from? This mindset came from of a weak man all the way from the very beginning. What we read in Genesis chapter 3 and verse 6. It said, I'm just gonna get straight to the point. She took of the fruit thereof and did eat, and gave it also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. So she disobeyed, gave it to her husband, and her husband followed suit. Right? Weakness in the man, following after our women. That's a problem. We have a problem. We have a big problem. Let me get 1 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 7. 1 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 7. I know a lot of times we have an issue with And I'm talking about men and women. And this is a way of identifying a weak man, you women, right? So women, pay attention. This is a way to identify a weak man. One way of identifying a weak man is if they have trouble submitting to someone over them, a man that's greater over them. We're supposed to always do that. The 12 disciples did it. Christ submitted to the Most High God. You know what I'm saying? That's an issue. And we've run across that issue many times here in Sons of Jacob, where a man has a problem submitting to another man. That's a problem. But you don't have a problem going to work for your oppressor, to your enemy, and him telling you when to come into work, when to wake up. That's an issue. That's a problem. Go ahead with that.
1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 7. 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 7. For a man indeed ought not to cover his head, for as much as he is the image and glory of God.
So he is the image and glory of God. Go ahead.
But the woman is the glory of the man.
But the woman is the glory of the man. Come on.
For the man is not of the woman, but the woman of the man.
Right.
Neither was the man created for the woman, but the woman for the man.
So the woman was created for the man. The man was not created for the woman. And a lot of times we use these scriptures and we use it for the women, but we're using it to the men to give them understanding on their position. Because a lot of men, just like what we just saw, have a problem with understanding their roles. You have Christians in the Christian church that will completely avoid the scripture just so that they don't make the woman feel a certain way. Right? So they neglect their role just to make their wives or their women feel a certain way. That's a problem. Oh man, that scripture popped in my head, popped back out again, man. I'm trying to get that scripture in Sirach. I cannot think about it right now. Let me get Jeremiah chapter 31 and verse 22. Jeremiah chapter 31 and verse 22.
This is Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 22. Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 22. How long wilt thou go about, O thou backsliding daughter? For the Lord hath created a new thing in the earth. A woman shall compass a man.
A woman compassing a man. A woman compassing a man. This is not a good thing. That's why the first part, he talked about backsliding daughter. You're backsliding, right? Our men need to understand when they see a problem in their women, they have to stand up. So we have a big issue with men submitting to their women. What's that, man? They have submitting to their women. Oh man, it's not studying at that courtesy. It's out of their, run out of their wits.
Oh.
That's what I was looking for.
First Ezra 4 and 26.
That's why. Okay, you got that.
Yeah.
Okay, out the water.
First Ezra chapter 4, verse 26. Yea, many there be that have run out of their wits for women.
So many men have there be that run out of their wits for women. Is there more on that?
And become servants for their sakes.
They become their servants. This is not a stab or a jab at women. We're talking about weak men.
Verse 27.
Go ahead.
Many also have perished, have erred, and sinned for women.
So they have sinned for women. Let me get Proverbs chapter 31 and verse, it might be 1 or 2. Proverbs 31 and 1. So men, we continue to fall into the same traps because we're not studying. We're not going over these scriptures. We're not meditating. We're letting our emotions get the best of us, right? We're thinking with our I'm trying to use the best word. We're thinking with our sex member instead of our big head, right? Our main head. We're thinking with the wrong head. That's what I'm trying to say, right? So we have a problem, and that's been leading us astray for a long time, right? We have a backwards head effect.
Proverbs 31, verse 31. Proverbs 31 and 30. Favor is deceitful.
No. 31 and 1. 31 and 1.
Proverbs 31, verse 1.
Uh-huh.
And the words of King Lemuel, the prophecy that his mother taught him.
That his mother taught him. So his mother taught him this prophecy. And this is what all our righteous women should know and teach their sons. And make sure their husbands don't stray off from this either. This is why our righteous women are so important. What we just saw, the video we just saw, was not a video of a righteous woman. Of course, she probably believes in God. She probably in church every Sunday. But she can't get down with that. They probably going to end up changing that. They probably going to end up taking the whole vow of, what is it? Honoring and obeying their husband. They can probably take that all the way out. I'm pretty sure they probably already have. A lot of Christians. Honor and obey him. That's what the Bible say. Why is it a problem? You got a problem with what God is saying? Let's go on. Let's keep going on that. Verse 2.
Verse 2. What my son and what the son of my womb and what the son of my vows, give not thy strength unto women.
What is his mother telling him?
Give not thy strength unto women.
Man.
Nor thy ways that to which destroy kings.
Destroy his kings, man. So his mother told him, don't give your strength unto a woman. And that was a righteous mother. Speaking those words to her son. How many of our women of our nation are doing that? They're not doing that. Right? I heard a video where he was at his girlfriend's parents' house, our mother's house, and he started fixing himself a plate. And she was the mother-in-law was like, "Oh, he a good husband. He a good husband because he's fixing his own plate." I mean, we all have roles to do. We all have positions to fill. If you don't know your role, you're not going to fulfill it. So that leads me to the next. Let's go to the next slide. Let's go to the next slide. All right, let me stop sharing this. Go to All right. And we're going to read this. This is the Willie Lynch letter. So, like I said, it started in Genesis, but, over time, we got the understanding and we saw where Adam fell and how he went off. Things might have got a little better, but then, boom, things got worse again for us, right? So when we got over here to America, this is one of the things that happened to us over here in America with the Willie Lynch letter. Willie Lynch went around teaching the slave masters this very thing. And we're going to read about 5 slides of this just so that y'all can get an understanding of how the roles were reversed, right? Men running how am I saying that? Running out of their wits for women. They're running out of their wits for women because the roles have been reversed, right? So let's get that right here. You're fine.
It says, take the meanest and most restless.
No. This is what I'm saying.
Oh.
Because that's not it.
Okay. The breaking process of the African woman.
Hold on, let me make sure this is up. Can they see this? Okay, cool. All right, Kai.
It says, the breaking process of the African woman.
Mm-hmm.
And then take the female and run a series of tests on her to see if she will submit to your desire willingly.
Right. So this is what Willie Lynch is telling the slave masters to do to the black woman. Go ahead.
Test her in every way because she is the most important factor for good economics.
Right. She's the most important factor to make sure that they can sleep well at night. Right. Make sure that things are going to be ran strong on their plantation. Make sure the crops is not going to be burned in the middle of the night. They're not going to be a revolt because she's going to make sure that she sticks to the plan. Or they know that she's going to stick to the master's plan. But go ahead.
If she shows signs, if she shows any sign of resistance and submitting completely to do your will, do not hesitate to use the bullwhip on her to extract the last bit of bitch out of her. Take care not to kill her, for in doing so, you spoil good economics. When in complete submission, she will train her offspring in the early years to submit to labor when they become of age.
It says when in complete submission. So when she's in complete submission, this is what she's going to do. This is what her mindset will be. She will train her offspring in early years, right? So let's find out, after she was in complete submission, what would she end up doing? Let's go to the next one. Next one, let's see. How come this is I'm not gonna complicate it. All right. Go ahead.
Understanding is the best thing. Therefore, we shall go deeper into this area of the subject matter concerning what we have produced here in the breaking process of the female nigger.
Mm-hmm.
We have reversed relationships in her natural uncivilized state. She would have a strong dependency on the uncivilized nigger male.
Okay, hold on. So this is very key. We have reversed relationships. This is the process. In the beginning of this, it says, understanding is the best thing. We have reversed relationships. In her natural, uncivilized state, she would have a strong dependency on the uncivilized nigger male. So what is it saying? She had a strong strong dependency on her husband. So they had to reverse that relationship. Go ahead.
And she would have a limited protective tendency towards her independent male offspring, and would raise the female offspring to be dependent like her.
She would raise the what? Read it again.
It says, would have a limited protective tendency towards her independent male offspring and would raise the female offspring to be dependent like her.
She's going to raise her female offspring to be dependent like her, where the male will be Slovakia. The female will be dependent and the male will be independent, or the male was independent, right? But they're going to make the female dependent, or make the female independent. Man, Slovakia. They're going to end up making the female independent because they're reversing the roles. Go ahead.
Nature had provided time with this balance.
Go ahead.
We reverse nature by burning and pulling one civilized nigger apart and bullwhipping the other to the point of death, all in her presence.
And this is what they did. This is the method they used to reverse the nature, right? All right, go ahead.
Let's make a slave. By her being left alone, unprotected, with the male image destroyed, the ordeal caused her to move from her psychological dependent state to a frozen independent state. In this frozen psychological state of independence, she will raise her male and female offspring in reverse roles.
Okay, hold on. So read that first part again. That first four words, 5 words.
By her being left alone.
By her being left alone. It said what?
Unprotected.
Unprotected.
With the male image destroyed.
So she was left alone and unprotected. Let's get Sirach chapter 36 and verse 25.
This is Sirach chapter 36, verse 24 through 25.
Just 25.
25. Where no hedge is, there the possession is spoiled.
So where no hedge is, where's no husband, or where no man, the man is the protector of the woman, right? Where no protection is, what does it say?
There the possession is spoiled.
There the possession is spoiled. The woman is the man's possession. The man is the protector. And the Willie Lynch letter said, by her being left alone, unprotected, with the male image destroyed, she was easily conquered and easily taken over. Right? Go ahead.
Let's all for this one. Oh, never mind. In this frozen psychological state of independence, she will raise her male and female offspring in reverse roles. For fear of the young man's life, she will psychologically train him to be mentally weak and dependent, but physically strong.
So mentally weak and dependent, but physically strong.
That's crazy.
So he's going to be mentally weak, dependent, and physically strong. Just what we saw in that video. We saw a strong black man, but he was mentally weak.
I mean, that's true. Because nowadays you see the mothers don't really trip about their son being strong. They kind of feed them to get strong. Like, oh, you're so strong, bub. You getting up there, you know. But then they don't ever. Not all women, of course, but we saw women tend to make him weak mentally, you know, like telling him, hey, don't you know what I'm saying, don't hate on a certain group of people. You know what I'm saying, like you can be around them, you know what I'm saying, it's not, you know, was it toxic masculinity,
right?
Don't be a bigot, don't be a you know, all these things to make him mentally weak. That's what we feed our people with.
So that's a lot of key points in that, because physically strong, like Zion was saying, he said that a lot of our women, they're like, man, you getting strong. They understand that physical strength is masculine, is a male trait. So they'll encourage the man, they'll encourage the boy, man, you getting strong. Hercules, like in what's that movie? Where he's big and fat. What's his name? Eddie Murphy. I can't remember his name.
Fat over?
No, that's not him. But they understand that that's a masculine trait, right? That's a part of being a man. It's being physically strong. But one thing they're missing is being mentally strong. That's also a part of being that's a masculine trait. Let me get this second Ezra chapter 5 and verse 8.
This second Ezra chapter 5 verse 8. There shall be a confusion also in many places, and the fire shall be oft sent out again, and the wild beasts shall change their places, and minstrous women shall bring forth monsters.
So minstrous women shall bring forth monsters. This is what we're seeing. This is what we see. We see monsters out there. We see mentally weak men, but physically strong. Right? You got whole homosexuals running gangs. I don't even know if I was politically correct. It's already been said. You know what I'm saying?
Just say candy canes.
Okay, candy canes. But that's exactly what's going on, man. Mentally weak, but physically strong. They're quick and ready to kill a brother in an instant. Mentally weak, but physically strong. They can overpower them. Right? But then they train the women to be dependent or independent. Salakia. She's independent, which is the opposite role what she's supposed to be. Women, if you're listening to this, you're not designed. If you're thinking that you're a strong, independent black woman or a strong, independent woman, period, that was not created for you. You was not supposed to be that way. Actually, they created it for you, but it's not the role that you're supposed to be operating in. They created that strong, independent black woman or strong, independent woman, right? That's free from the power of her husband. She rules her husband. Go ahead. What you got?
What's crazy is if you're not cotton candy, right? Why do you care so much about, like, why is the people that aren't cotton candies ready to die for them so fast? You know what I'm saying? It's very interesting. I think you got straight people are the main fighters, right? It's like, oh nah, bro, like, you know, let them live and everything. It's like, It just makes you think like, why does straight people have such an issue with other straight people just not accepting it? You know what I'm saying? Like, why do they care so much?
Hmm.
It's I just want to know.
Right. Something to think about. Let me get this Isaiah chapter 3, verse 12.
It's Isaiah chapter 3, verse 12. As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err, and destroy the way of thy paths.
Man, the Bible is fire. The Bible is so accurate, man. We see the effects that happen in slavery, which is the Willie Lynch letter, which is what we're reading right now. And the Bible said that this was going to happen. As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. This is a problem, man. Like, our women should hear this and be like, look, okay, something's wrong. If this is not the role that God designed me to be, then I need to find out what that role is and operate in it. Men need to be, wait a minute. They said that they wanted to make a mentally weak man, but physically strong. I need to change that. I got some work to do. What did the Most High God say I'm supposed to do? What did he say? I'm supposed to what? Rule over my wife? She's supposed to obey me? We got some work to do, right? If she can't get down with it, she's not ready to be married. She's not ready to be a wife. It's as simple as that, right? We're going to keep going on this Willie Lynch. Go ahead.
You got the nigger woman out front, and the man behind and scared. This is the perfect situation for sound sleep and economics.
Now, okay. What does the Bible say? A loud and clamorous woman, she is simple and knoweth nothing.
Yeah.
Loud and clamorous. She's out in front, right? She's out in front. What? She ain't supposed to be out in front. That's not her job. It says you got a nigger woman out in front and the man behind scared. That's exactly what we see a lot of times. We see that. The woman out in front and the man behind scared, man. This is a problem. Your head is on backwards, right? Go ahead.
Before the breaking process, we've had to alertly on guard at all times. Now we can sleep soundly. For out of frozen fear,
Go ahead.
It says, before the breaking process, we had to alertly on guard at all times.
Mm-hmm.
Now we can sleep sound. We can sleep soundly. For out of frozen fear, his woman stands guard for us.
This is exactly what I was talking about. This is why it's good for It's good for their economics. So we don't burn up the crops. So we don't raise up and cause a revolt. So there ain't no more Nat Turners, right? This is why she was good for economics. So that they can sleep soundly. We're supposed to be out there making noise. You got something?
It sounds like a corporate office. His woman stands guard for us.
Done.
You think that's your wife, nigga? That's mine.
Right. That's right. She'll go to work and honor her boss and not honor her husband when she get home. You know what I'm saying? That's a big issue. I had another video that I had accidentally deleted I wanted to show, but it talks about how he's like, this Jake, he's like, man, it does something to me to see my woman go to a concert and she's yelling and worshiping this guy like a god, but she comes home, I can barely get a sandwich. That's a problem. This is a problem, man. This is a big issue, and a lot of our people ain't going to hearken or listen to the counsel of the Most High God. They're not going to hear it. You got something?
No.
Okay, go ahead. Finish this.
He cannot get past her infant slave process.
Infant slave process.
He is a good tool, now ready to be tied to the horse at a tender age.
Mm-hmm.
By the time a nigger boy reaches the age of 16, he is soundly broken in and is ready for life's sound and efficient work. and the reproduction of a unit of good labor force.
Right. Let me get. I think this is the last one. Let me see. Yeah. Let's get this last one.
Continually through the breaking of uncivilized savage niggers by throwing the nigger female savage into a frozen psychological state of independency.
She's frozen psychologically. She is psychologically, mentally frozen in this independent mindset. She can't get out of it. Chinese women aren't going. They're not going around saying they're strong and independent. They're not doing that. The Arab women are not saying they're strong and independent. They understand that they need a man. They need protection. Right? I brought up the in class last Sabbath about the Hurricane Katrina. The women were targeting men that houses that didn't have a man. I don't care how big or how small the man was, if there was, and they went to find a single independent woman. That's who they targeted. Our people still don't get it, and they're not going to get it. Right? The Most High is only waking up a remnant, and this is who we're speaking to, Lord willing. But go ahead.
By killing the protected male image, by creating a submissive, dependent mind of the nigger male savage, we have created an orbiting cycle that turns on his own axis forever. Unless a phenomenon occurs and reshifts the positions of the female savages, we show what we mean by example. Take the case of two economic slave units and examine them closely.
Right. So unless a phenomenon occurs, this is going to continue. It's going to keep happening. I mean, it's going to be an everlasting. The roles of nature were reversed, and it's going to keep going that way unless a phenomenon occurs, which is the Bible. The Bible has occurred and it has brought us back to our righteous state. It has taught us what our roles are supposed to be and how we're supposed to operate. Let me get 1 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 3. 1 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 3. That phenomenon that occurred was the Bible. Go ahead, King.
1 Corinthians 11 verse 3. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Christ is God.
So we have those roles right there laid out in front of us. The Most High God, Christ, man, and then woman. A lot of our women aren't going to get it. They're not going to be able to rock with it. They're not going to be able to get down with it. Right? Hey, but you know, my thought process is there's going to be more women in the kingdom than men. Right? There's going to be more women in the kingdom than men. Go ahead.
I look at it like this. You know, you got to examine when a demon's on you. Because a lot of times, you know, when somebody's like, okay, what is identifying a demon? Does that mean a demon's going to knock on your door and then it says, hey, I'm attached to you today? Is the demon going to, you know, go into your mind and talk to you in his demon scary voice and say, follow me? You know what I'm saying? You got to know when you have it. For example, if a man first learns that he has to stop being effeminate, if he feels emotional about that and feels like, and he starts hating that, right? He's like, oh man, I hate that I have to not be effeminate. That's a demon. Right. You got to acknowledge that. You got to be able to not let Satan win, not let you think that this is you talking and it's a demon. So I use that to a woman. If you hear the sentence a man over a woman, if that just triggers you in some way or shape or form, if that makes you mad, you got to cut that demon. You got to acknowledge that that is a demon. That's the first step. Just as a man, when he hears something that a man has to do and he has like a little emotional feeling about it, or that he starts getting triggered by that, he got to recognize that that's a demon. Because Satan has no rules. He's going to try to say like, oh, no, this is not me. This is you. Sis, this is your logical thinking. Mm-hmm. So we got to make sure we know who the enemy is at all times.
That's like, I ain't going to have no man over me. Well, God said that he set men up over other men. Christ set men up over other men. But you are the option. You're the obsession. Obsession. How am I saying that? Exception. Exception. You're the exception to the rule. All of a sudden, you're that one person that don't have no man over you. Everybody that was anything that was ever important, I'm talking about anybody, always had somebody over them.
All right.
You can, in the world, Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan, Mike Tyson, all of them, man, they had somebody, they had another man over them guiding their steps. When you're reading the Bible, you have another man over you. When you came into this truth, a man taught you. So there's pride and arrogancy that we got to cut out as men, right? You got to get your head on straight, man. All right, let me get Jeremiah chapter 44 and verse 15. Jeremiah chapter 44 and verse 15. This is another example of that backwards head effect. Shalom, family. Shalom, shalom. Go ahead.
This is Jeremiah 44, verse 15. Then all men which knew that their wives had burned incense unto other gods, and all the women that stood by, a great multitude, even all the people.
Salakia. Start up at 15 again for me, because I missed it.
It says, Jeremiah chapter 44, verse 15. Then all the men which knew that their wives had burned incense unto other gods.
Stop right there. So then all the men knew that their wives burned incense to other gods. We knew in ancient times, we knew when our wives was going off and what happened. They didn't even do nothing. They didn't correct their women. They didn't correct their wives, man. This is our jobs as men, is to correct our women. Go ahead.
It says, and all the women that stood by, and a great multitude, even all the people that dwelt in the land of Egypt, and Pathros, and answering Jeremiah, saying, as for the word that the Lord has spoken unto us in the name of the Lord, we will not hearken unto thee.
The women said, we will not hearken unto thee. All the words that you've spoken unto us, prophet Jeremiah, we will not listen to you. Go ahead.
But we will certainly do whatsoever thing go forth out of our own mouth to burn incense unto Queen of Heaven.
So they're doing everything they desire. We're not going to listen to you. We're going to do whatever our hearts desire. You got something?
No, I was just saying.
Okay, we're going to keep going on that.
Oh, I like Queen of Heaven? That's crazy.
Yeah. Verse 17. 44 17.
But we will certainly do whatsoever thing goeth forth out of our own mouth, and to burn incense unto the Queen of Heaven, and to pour out drink offerings unto her, as we have done, we and our fathers, our kings and our princes, in the city of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem. For then had we plenty of victuals, and we were well and saw no evil.
Right, so when they was worshiping the Queen of Heaven, they had everything they wanted. When they was worshiping Satan himself, they had everything they wanted. They was being blessed, right? They had food, they had drinks.
That's such a dumb point.
Right.
Because that's like that gets our people. Because I'm pretty sure that's not the first time in the Bible we said that. They said, once we start serving the Lord, there's evil. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But when I was serving this idol, I was fine. That's just like nowadays, bro. When you come into the truth, you're gonna go through afflictions. You're gonna be like, dang, when I was in homosexuality, I didn't go through this.
Yep.
I wasn't schooling like that. That's how the Lord works.
Yep.
That's how you know you're actually purifying yourself. You're going to that heat. You know what I'm saying? The Bible says it's better to hear be around hear the rebuke of the wise and the songs of fools. Yeah. Fools. That's what we're so accustomed to is fools. We're never really around what truly is gonna help us and save our soul.
Right. Hey, so also too, like it is a dumb point. Like we've seen it happen in our camp where it's hard, they can't find a job, it's just struggling in this truth. I'm talking about they having it rough. But then as soon as they turn their backs on their brother, they leave the truth, man, they come up, they start owning their own businesses, they get married, things they got babies popping out. Like they're like, oh, just this is the same thing that happened to us in biblical times. This is what they're saying. When they worshiped the Queen of Heaven, they had everything, right? But we're gonna keep going on that.
It says, "For then we had plenty of victuals and were well and saw no evil.
They had plenty of victuals, well, and they saw no evil.
But since we left off to burn incense to the Queen of Heaven,
Since they stopped doing it,
and to pour out drink offerings unto her, we have wanted all things.
They've wanted all things. Go ahead.
And have been consumed by the sword and by the famine. And when we burned incense to the Queen of Heaven and poured out drink offerings unto her, did we make her cakes to worship her and pour her out drink offerings unto her without our men? Then Jeremiah said unto all the people, to the men and to the women and to all the people which had given him that answer, saying."
Hold on just a second. So they did it without their men. So they did it without getting permission from their husbands. They were doing things and they were getting blessed. They saw the blessings that were coming from worshiping the devil, worshiping Satan, right? So they're like, hey, why do it, right? But Jeremiah is going to explain. He's going to go ahead and he's going to explain, and he's going to break it down to us better than I can. So go ahead, King.
It says, Jeremiah 44 verse 20. Then Jeremiah said unto all the people, to the men and to the women, and to all the people which had given him that answer, saying, the incense that ye burned in the cities of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem, ye and your fathers, your kings and your princes, and all the people of the land, did not the Lord remember them, and came it not into his mind, so that the Lord could no longer bear because of the evil of your doings, and because of the abominations which ye have committed. Therefore, it is your land a desolation, and an astonishment, and a curse without an inhabitant, as it is as at this day, because ye have burned incense, and because ye have sinned against the Lord, and not obeyed the voice of the Lord, nor walked in his law, nor in his statutes, nor in his testimonies. Therefore, this evil has happened unto you as at this day.
So this is why it happened, and this is why it's going to continue to happen, because you disobeyed God, because you're disobedient children, right? Because we're not hearkening unto the words of the Lord. We're not seeking his counsel. We're going against the Lord, thinking that's the best way, right? We're supposed to be rulers over the planet. And we think because we got a nice house or a nice car, we got it made. You're supposed to be ruling the whole city. You don't see the bigger picture, right? You might have nice outfit, nice job. You're supposed to be running jobs. You're supposed to be ruling over nations of people. We're missing the bigger picture, right? And the only way we're going to get this understanding is coming back to the Bible, right? Getting our heads on straight, understanding that, we can't be falling for the same old traps no more. The things that was written aforetime was written for our learning, right? Let me get this. Let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 2 and verse 31, 32. 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 31, 32.
This 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 31 and 32. Behold, the days come that I will cut off thine arm and the arm of thy father's house, and there shall not be an old man in thine house.
So this is the curse when there's no man in the house. When there's no men in the house, this is a curse that's going to come upon the house, right? You see the women, ruling, having monsters, giving birth to effeminate men, masculine women. This is the curse that comes upon the house. There's not going to be no old man in the home no more, right? These are issues, and we don't even see it as curses. We think it's blessings, right? Go ahead. So, hold on just a second, man. Okay. Go ahead, read it again. 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 31.
This is 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 31. Behold, the days come that I will cut off thine arm and the arm of thy father's house, and that there shall not be an old man in thine house.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
And thou shalt see an enemy in my habitation, and all the wealth which God shall give Israel, and there shall not be an old man in thy house forever.
So there's not going to be a man to give you wisdom, guidance, and there's no defense because we have left off from the covering of the Most High God. We don't have men in the home. We have a lot of single, independent women that don't have no men. They don't have no fathers. They don't have no brothers that are masculine enough to help give them understanding and guidance. They don't have that. So a curse is placed upon our people that there's no old men in the homes. We don't see that, right? And if they are, they don't have the understanding that they need to. They're not giving you the guidance to come back to the law, statutes, and commandments. That's not happening. Right? Let's get Deuteronomy chapter 23 and verse 17. Deuteronomy chapter 23 and verse 17.
It's Deuteronomy chapter 23, verse 17. There shall be no whore of the daughters of Israel, nor a sodomite of the sons of Israel.
There should not be no whores of the daughter of Israel. Right? So this is another curse that's placed upon us as a people because we are rebellious nature. Right? The roles have been reversed. We keep having weak men, causing our women to go into whoredom. Right? Causing the homes to be single of an absence of a father because of our disobedience. So this is an issue. This is a problem, man. So with that, man, Lord willing, y'all got some understanding. We're going to leave off with that. We're going to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, Bahashem, Mashiach, Yahweh Shah. Shalom. Did you have something?